Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. This is my weekly show where you see what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. So this week, I finished significantly more models than last week. I painted some new monsters for Monsterpocalypse and got started on my New Year, New Army for Slaves to Darkness for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So I managed to pound out about 19 models for my Age of Sigmar army and 6 new models for Monsterpocalypse. I also got some base coats down on the next 3 out of 4 miniatures for my first 1,000 points and got a few other projects on the go. So let's see what's got done and what is coming up. So first things first, here is my new monster units. For the Pterosaurs from Monsterpocalypse, I painted up Pterodax. This is the new Pterosaurs, flying bat creature monster, Mothra basically, along with the Pterodactyls, and 4 Bellowers, including an elite. They are pretty cool. Pterodax is a super fast, high defense, pretty stabby monster with a really cool breath attack when he goes hyper. The tow ability is actually really cool as well on the Pterodactyls, especially if you have the Mount Terra, so that you can spawn one for free and use it to drag one of these little guys, the Bellowers, who are just awesome because they have a huge debuff. They're a shooting unit, but on top of that, you're -1 power die within 2 squares of them on all attacks. So if you just hum one into the middle of a unit of guys or keep one near your monsters, it makes it really hard to attack and just is a general debuff overall. So really fun. I've used them in 1 game so far. Actually, I played against them in 1 game so far. But I'll be recording some more stuff against Mike next week where I'll give him a go. And then here's what I got done for my Slaves to Darkness. I've got a 15-man unit of Warriors of Chaos, a mixture of the old and new models with some conversions. I wanted to try out the extra hand weapons, so the conversion there is using just a bunch of different extra hands from the old Chaos Warrior sprue to mark up these new guys, and basically 6 of the 10 that come in the new Start Collecting box can be given additional hand weapons. The other ones have the shield like on the body somehow, like slung over a shoulder, or they're just carrying it in such a way as it's not really easy to convert them. So I will make a shield unit as well based on those guys, with a couple new like additional guys. Probably as like a camping unit to like hold his own, 2 little 5-man units just to like maybe sit in objectives and stuff and just kind of turtle down and be able to shrug off mortal wounds and stuff. So I'm really happy with them. 15 seems like a good number. It's 300 points. Like they're pretty spendy, but they're just better liberators. They reroll all their misses because they have 2 hand weapons, and as long as there's 10 or more models, until I've taken 11 wounds basically, I'm sorry, 12 wounds actually, they reroll all their failed saves too. So they are pretty sweet. They got the full command as well. I built a banner and a hornblower and a champion. So I'm pretty jazzed about those. And I got 3 of my 5 Chaos Knights finished. These are the old Chaos Knights I already built. I have the new ones as well to take it to a 10-man unit, but I finished my Doom Knight, and then a banner, and the musician is on the way. And then, of course, this was the rest of the old Start Collecting, which is the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, who has a really good spell. He can just nominate a unit to reroll their failed rolls to hit and rolls to wound. So a prime target when I have a 10-man unit of Knights barreling across the table to hum that spell on them, and use the command point from the Lord and a Crackerdrak to give them +1 to hit as well, and then reroll charges. So they're just like 3s and 3s, -2, 2 damage, rerolling everything, just blitz in and hopefully do a big chunk of damage in the unit. So this right here is, well, when I finish this, it's 180. And then 580, 690 overall for my 1,000 points. And I got a Lord and a Crackerdrak to paint and a Chariot. Speaking of which, there's the Lord himself. You can see here is just the process. They're just dry brushed, I can't remember what it's called now. Lead Belcher, maybe? Vulcan Metal? Whatever Vulcan Metal is called now. And then the bases are done in Scab White Dinch, and everything is worked up from that. I threw down some old Agrax Earthshade Gloss after all the base coats, and then just throw in some highlights, and they're pretty much done. It's a nice simple paint scheme. Kind of like painting Evil Grey Knights. I wanted my army to be undivided, because then if I want to build into specific gods, I can. Like, they could also pass as Khorne Warriors, or Tzeentch Warriors, or whatever. It's just a nice way of building out some dudes that can be basically folded into the other cult armies later on. And these last 2 knights I'm going to paint, and then the Lord, and the last little bit is this right here. I have to do a Gorby's Chariot, and that puts me at a grand total of 1,000 points. And then I just really want, I'm going to treat myself and paint this guy. He's really cool. He has this cool ability where at the end of a fight, basically, if he's still within 1 inch of or if he's within 1 inch of the enemy, every model within 1 inch of him takes a mortal wound, because he's just a killing machine. He just can't stop killing. I'm sorry, Morty, I just love killing. And I've wanted to paint him for a while. So What I might do eventually for some cultures when I go to closer to 2,000 is buy that box of iron golems and have him lead them into battle. But that's what's coming up basically for the end of the weekend. Try and get these in over the weekend, and this thing at least assembled and primed. I'll probably paint it in sub-assemblies just because the chariots are a bit of a pain to paint otherwise. And then I'm just waiting on Owen to finish some float goblins because, yeah, wait till you see that project. It's going to be crazy. Also for next week, Nova ESR, new monster for the guard, as well as the exosuits are going to be painted up for some games with Mike, as well as so basically Mike sent his entire collection of RadQuest minis off to a buddy, so he's starting from scratch. So I've got some time to get the Destructron 3000 and the Gates and Flugwug and the treasure chests painted, but I'm gonna get to work on those as well because he's got to rebuild his teams. And then finally, big thanks to Chris Ewell. My other New Year, New Army is gonna be Grey Knights. I'm going to try and get 1,000 points of them painted probably in February, and the basis is going to be this Nemesis Vanguard box that he had just sitting around that he was not painting, and he was like, I'd rather not deal with hassle with eBay. Do you want it? And I said, yes, I'll totally paint it up if you send it. So that showed up this week, and I'm going to be doing the I have a few bits and pieces. I think I have another Dread Knight, I have another squad Terminators, and maybe 5 more Strike Marines somewhere, so it should be able to form the core of like a decent start for Grey Knights. And they got a new book too, so it's kind of exciting. And I'm probably gonna do them not in silver, I'll do them actual gray for a change and see what that looks like. All right, so there we go. We're up to 33 models for the year now. I feel a bit better after this week. I had a slow start. I was only at 8 last week for the month of January so far, and I was like, I have to do at least a model a day. Like it's 2 models a day plus to get to my goal of like 809 or 810 or something like that. But I have to do at least a model a day in January. This is just not gonna happen. So we'll see where I get to next weekend. I've got a week left basically in January. I don't think I get to 60. I might get to 60 depending on what projects that start next week. I mean, if I just finish the Chaos stuff plus the Monpoc stuff, I'm at like 10 or 12 models, which pushes me into I'm at 33 right now. So into the 50s probably for the month, which isn't too bad. And I feel good about having the first 1,000 points of the Slaves of Darkness stuff done. I'm going to plot out my next 500 points, but I think it's going to be probably, I want to finish the Knights from the new start collecting, so I have a 10 million of Knights, or at least a 3rd battle line. The Chaos Lord on foot, because again, he has an awesome command ability, lets people fight twice. So that could be real good all of a sudden. We buy some extra command points, and he's 110 points by himself. So that's 290 points. Then it's like, what do I want to do for the last 200 points-ish to go to 15. I'm thinking I probably should get a War Shrine, because the War Shrine's pretty integral with that prayer on a 3+, giving everybody extra good boosts, and not to rely on the spell either from the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. So if I don't get it off, I can attempt again with the spell basically. So yeah, we'll see what I do. But that's a plan for after I get the first 1,000 points done, and you'll see what I get finished next weekend on Saturday. So big thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Ash. Have a good night. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.